Hi folks, several people have been asking about how to do the locations for quadratic clue. So I'm going to walk you through the first one, the dressing room. First of all, think of these as rectangular rooms. They tell you the area of the dressing room is 625 and the perimeter is 100. I'm using X to represent my width and Y to represent the length. To calculate area of a rectangle, I would have to multiply my length times my width. So X times Y. And they tell me that that equals 625. To calculate perimeter of this figure, I would have to do 2x plus 2y equals 100. But these are all even numbers. 2, 2, 100, all divisible by 2. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce by 2. And get x plus y equals 50. So now these are my two equations that I need to solve. So that's the system of equations I need to solve. To do it, I'm going to take this one and solve it for y. Because it's x times y, I'm going to divide by x. So I divide by x to get y equals 625 divided by x. Now I can take what y equals and plug it in place of y in my second equation. So that I have x plus 625 divided by x equals 50. So now I have an equation with only one variable that I can solve, but I don't like this x in the denominator. So I'm going to fraction bust. I'm going to multiply every term in the equation by x to get rid of that x from the denominator and have whole values. So if I multiply everything by x, I'll get x squared. If I take this term and multiply by x and dividing by x are inverses, they'll cancel out. So I'll just have 625. And then x times 50, 50x. There's my quadratic. Because it's got a linear term, I know I can't solve with square roots, so I need to get it into standard form. So I'm going to subtract 50x from both sides. So I've got x squared minus 50x plus 625 equals 0. I'm going to factor this now. Doesn't have a GCF because I already reduced it by 2 up here. So I know I need x times x in order to get x squared. I know they both have to be minus signs so that it multiplies to positive 625 but adds to negative 50. And then I think about 625. Since it ends in 25, I know that it's a multiple of 5, definitely. And actually, 625 is 25 squared, which is perfect, because 25 and 25 gives me 50. So this factors in x minus 25 times x minus 25, or x minus 25 quantity squared. And so I use zero product property, set that equal to 0. And solve. You know, you can either think of you're pulling one of these out to set equal to 0, or that we just square rooted right here to get rid of the squaring. Either way, you'll get x minus 25 equals 0. You'll add 25 to both sides. You'll get that x equals 25. So that's one dimension of your room. And then you'll take it up and plug it in to find the y value. So y equals 625 divided by 25. So you get y equals 25 as well. So this is a square room. The dimensions of this room are 25 by 25. So the dressing room is square, 25 by 25. This is the general process you'll use for all of these rooms. Think of them as rectangles. Pick a dimension for the width and the length. Realize that for area of a rectangle, you multiply your two dimensions together. For perimeter, you do 2x plus 2y equals 100, or whatever you're using for your variables, 2 of them plus 2 of them has to equal your perimeter. Reduce that equation if you can. Solve this one for one of the variables so you can substitute it in. Then you're going to have a variable in the denominator, so you want a fraction bust. Multiply every term in the equation by x, or whatever variable you choose. You'll get a quadratic. You need to get into standard form, and then think about factoring it down. When they're not square rooms, you'll have two different factors here, and it doesn't matter which one you choose to make x and which one you choose to make y, you'll get the same answers no matter what. So like if they said x minus 10 and x minus 25, you know, I can make x 10 or I can make x 25. The other one will always come out as the y value because you'll get it by plugging it in here. I hope this helps, and I hope the little ones in the background weren't too distracting.